God has no place in that part of our lives. This is a scary thing. Because ultimately, this comes down to the fact, if I am intentionally keeping a secret from other human beings and from God, it's something that's in the dark. If I'm intentionally keeping a secret from other human beings, even though I have told God, it's something that could possibly be in the dark. You're going to have to do some evaluation on this, but the bottom line is that God is light, it says. But secondly, the second problem is that the light has come into the world. Whenever we say that we follow Jesus, we say we're following someone who's fully light. To be a Christian, to be a follower of Christ, means that there's got to be this character in me that is light-like. It means that the secrets, number one, I don't keep any secrets. Number two, because I don't need to keep any secrets. Number three, because there are no secrets in my life worth hiding from people. Everything that you see is what you get. There is none of that bad stuff lurking below the surface. That's all been dealt with, processed, confessed, and gone. Light is what Jesus is all about. And He's come into the world. And then number three, there's bad stuff in the dark. You know those horror movies where people walk into the room and they don't turn on the light? And you want to smack them because it's like, you just want to reach out and shake your television and say, come on, don't you know it's a horror movie? Turn on the light. And, or, whatever. If you got a murderer running around in your town, it's my advice, turn on the lights. But, here's the truth. I know why they don't turn on the lights. And you know too. Because, if you've been in the dark for a while, and then you hit that switch, oh, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it hurts. The light hurts when your eyes aren't adjusted to it. Sometimes it's easier to just leave it off. I remember when I was a little kid, I would just leave the lights off because I didn't want my eyes to hurt. And so if I had to get up in the middle of the night to go get some water or go to the bathroom or something, I'd just do it in the dark. And, I kept having to tell myself, there are no monsters, there are no monsters, there are no monsters. But I wouldn't want to turn on the light because it would hurt my eyes. So I just go in the dark. That is until the day I stubbed my toe. And then I decided, well, the pain of leaving the dark was greater than the pain of turning on the light. And so then I decided from that point on it was probably better for me to turn on the lights. But there's the deal. There's bad stuff in the dark. Spiritually speaking, anything that you have that's in the dark is like when you take some leftovers, casserole, let's say, meatloaf, and rather than putting it in the refrigerator, you put it in the cupboard. You close the cupboard, and it's in the dark. It's all right in the dark. And every 5 months, you go back to that cupboard and you think, I really should put that in the fridge. I really should take it out and do something with it. But you're like, no, I don't want anyone to see that I've got the casserole in the Tupperware in my cupboard. I don't even know why it's there in the first place, so I'm just going to leave it there. So then 5 months later come by and you have company over and someone is walking up to that cupboard and you're like, wait a minute, I'll get you the glass that you need out of there. And you open it a little bit and you read. It's like that stupidness, okay? When you leave something in your soul that's in the dark like that, it's just festering. It's just sitting there like moldy casserole. And you don't want anyone to touch it. You don't want anyone to get near that. You don't want anyone to get near you because they might get too close to the junk. There's bad stuff in the dark. But Jesus says, He came into the world as the light because we need the light. And He calls us to come into it. I'm going to give you some practical points on what it means to become a person who lives in the light. Becoming a person of the light. And there are just three basic things. The first one is this. Let the light shine into you. Okay? That means that there's stuff in your soul that perhaps you've lost touch with. There's stuff in your life, in your heart, in your past that perhaps you've lost touch with. And when Jesus comes into the world, he uses this metaphor of light to say, I want to shine the light into you. To bring that stuff up to the surface and out. And sometimes you're going to need someone else's help with that. There are two ways you get help with this kind of letting God's light shine into you. Way number one is you got to read His Word to find out what the light is. So the light can shine some truth into your soul. And then number 2, check this. You have to be open to criticism. I just did not want to say that because you've heard me say that, and don't tell anyone else who goes to this church. This is Christmas Eve, this is just family, okay? This is just Sunday morning, forget you ever heard this. But I just told you that you have to be open to criticism, so what does that mean about me? I get to be a hypocrite. I don't have to be open to criticism, right? No, it means we all, see, there's some wisdom in criticism that even though we all hate it, perhaps, just perhaps, the person who voices the concern to you has seen something that God sees. Just perhaps there's some light going on. I don't want 2009 to be my year of criticism, either giving or receiving. But just maybe I need to hear something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first, let the light shine into you. Number 2, let the light shine onto you. That means that I'm going to let light hit my life so that people can see it. See, criticism is when someone digs under the surface because they saw something you wanted to hide. But the next level is not to have anything hidden, and so that the stuff that they see is the stuff that's really you. And so now it's not criticism, now it's just observation. It's like, okay, we're both aware of this, now let's deal with it. But if we do it all in the light, then there's just a greater opportunity for us to build those deep relationships with people. But this is what Jesus said, okay? Jesus said when you live in the light, the rest of the world can see that God is at work in you. You see that? If you're living in the light, then all the good stuff that happens, you're open enough, you're in the light, people know you're not capable of doing those things. Because you're not putting up a front in front of people, you're being real. They know it's God, not you. They know it's got to be something bigger than you. So number 1, let the light shine into you. Number 2, let the light shine onto you. And then number 3, let the light shine out of you. That means as you're going through your daily life, allow the light of Christ to come out of who you are so that everybody around you is like, whoa, where'd this light come from? They're just amazed. Something great and glorious is happening in their midst when you're next to them. Wouldn't it be great to walk into your workplace where a bunch of people are depressed and sad and overworked and annoyed at life and worried about whether or not they're going to be laid off, and you can walk into that place with a glow about you